Hi guys, what do you think we're going to learn about in today's video? Have a look. If my board is empty, that means it's time to learn a new sound. So we finished with insect who says E. Now we're going to learn about a new letter. And this letter's name is Jumping Jock. Can you say that for me? Jumping Jock. And this is what Jumping Jock looks like. There he is. There is Jumping Jock. And what animal do you think Jumping Jock is? He's a dog. Jumping Jock is a dog. And the sound that Jumping Jock makes is J. Can you say that? Jumping Jock says J. Well done. So let's read the story of Jumping Jock.
The story of Jumping Jock. There were 6 puppies, and because the wagons were empty, we fixed up a roomy home in one of them for Jess and her puppies. There was no trouble with Jess. Nobody interfered with her, and she interfered with nobody. The boys kept far away from her. But we used to take a look at her and the puppies as we walked along, so she got to know that we would not hurt them, and she no longer wanted to eat us alive if we went near and talked to her. 5 of the puppies were fat, strong, yellow little chaps with dark noses, just like their father. The 6th one, a poor, miserable little rat of a thing, about half the size of the others. He was not yellow like them, nor was he dark brown like Jess, and he had a sharp little nose that looked shriveled up with old age. I felt sure from the beginning that all the yellow puppies would be taken, and that I would have to take this odd one, or none at all. So I began to look at this little odd puppy as mine, and taking an interest in him, and looking after him. I felt sorry for him too, because he was small, and the other 5 big puppies used to pull him about by his ears, and pack on top of him, and bully him horribly. Many times I rescued him, and many times I gave him a little milk and water with bread soaked in it, when the others had pushed him out and eaten everything. Maybe I grew fond of him simply because, finding him lonely and with no one else to look after him, I befriended him, and maybe it was because he was always cheerful and so plucky and brave, and it seemed that there might be some good stuff in him after all. One day we had an amusing instance of his bravery. One of the oxen sniffing about the wagons caught sight of this little puppy, and filled with curiosity came to look at him, as a hulking, silly old tame ox will do. It moved towards him slowly and heavily with its ears spread wide and its head down, giving great big sniffs at the new object, trying to work out what it was. The puppy stood quite still with its stumpy tail cocked up and its head a little to one side. And when the huge oxen's nose was about a little bit away from him, he gave one of those funny little barks. Whoop! It was as if the object had suddenly gone off like a cracker, and the ox nearly tumbled over in a fright. The puppy was not the least bit frightened. He was startled, and his tail and his ears flickered for a second. but then he stiffened up again instantly, and with another one of those little barks, woof, he took off. But then he took a couple of steps forward and cocked his head to the other side. This is how he was. Fun fact: Jumping Jock is named after a famous dog from South Africa, Jock of the Bushveld. Jock grew up to be one of the bravest hunting dogs of all time and a best friend to his master. There is even a statue of Jock in Barberton Park.
What a lovely story about Jumping Jock and Jock of the Bushveld. Now it's time to learn our Jumping Jock song. So first we're going to listen to the song and then we can learn it together.
Jumping Jock, high up on the wall. Jumping Jock, trying to catch his ball. Look out, Jock, don't fall.
Are you ready to learn the words to Jumping Jock? Good job. Remember, I'll say them first and you can copy me. So we're first going to put our hands like a jumping jock. Have a look. See, Jumping Jock puts his hands up when he jumps and it goes like this. Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock. Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock. High up on the wall. Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock. Trying to catch his ball. Trying to catch his ball. Look out, Jock. Look out, Jock. Don't fall. Fall. Are we ready to try it with the song? Are you sure? Let's try. Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock, high up on the wall. Jumping Jock, Jumping Jock, trying to catch his ball. Look out, Jock, don't fall. Well done. Are we ready to sing all our Alphaland songs right from the beginning? Are you ready? Let's go! Let's all go to Alphaland, to Alphaland, to Alphaland, where we can sing our alphabet all at once. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Alice Apple, sitting on the tree. See the ants marching on the axe. 1, 2, 3. Hit ball with bat, just look at that. Bat and ball bounce up tall. Take turns to bat, take turns to bowl. It's only fair if you share. Curly clown, turning upside down, just to make the children see how funny he can be. Danny lives in the desert, it is dusty and dry. Danny the dinosaur with his friend Dragster the dragonfly. sit on an egg, 'cause Ellie elephant is far too big. Ellie elephant is afraid of a mouse, even though he's as big as a house. Fern fairy, where are you? Looking for feathers every day. In the forest along the way, we see the fox, we see the frog. Fern fairy, where are you? Giggle, giggle, granny, giggle, giggle, go. Red grapes, green grapes, any size or shape. Grapes, giggle, giggle, granny, giggle, giggle, go. Huberta the hippo is going for a walk, a very long walk, away from the helicopter hovering over her head. Hurry, Huberta, hurry. Ho, ho, hippo, go, go, go. I am insect, the most important inspector of all interesting indigenous items in my ivy garden. Jumping Jock, high up on the wall. Jumping Jock, trying to catch his ball. Look out, Jock, don't fall. Well done! You did all your Alphaland songs. Let's see what other words start with Jumping Jock. It's time for our J poster. And there it is. Wow! Let's have a look at the first picture on this side. What is this little one doing? What do we do on a trampoline? We jump. Good job. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Do you know what animal this is? It's called a jaguar. Now, this is a very fast aeroplane, and we call it a jet. On this side over here, this is something we need to wear now when it's cold. We need to wear a jacket. This is a glass jar that we can put things inside. Now, if you're very, very bad, where do you go? You can maybe go to jail. This poor cat must have been very naughty to go to jail, hey? Then this is a jellyfish. This is a plate of jelly. And right in the corner, this is jam, like we have on our bread at Sunnybank. So let's practice these words together. Remember, I will say it first, then you can copy me. J for jump. J for jaguar. J for jet. J for jacket. J for jar. J for jail. J for jellyfish. J for jellyfish. J for jelly. J for jelly. J for jam. J for jam. Well done. Now think very carefully. Is there anyone in the elephant class who has a jumping jock at the beginning of their name? We've got one friend, and her name is Jadil. Jadil's name starts with a jumping jock. So Jadil, your name can go up on the wall with jumping jock.
We've learnt all about jumping jock. So now it's time to learn how to write it. So I've got my house, and a big jumping jock starts at the roof. And a big jumping jock has got a big hat on his head by the roof. Then he's got a skinny body that goes straight down. And then at the bottom, he's got a hook. He's got a hook at the bottom. Then a small jumping jock likes to live in the cupboard. So we start by the cupboard, and his long skinny body goes into the grass and makes a hook in the grass. And then jumping jock has a dot on his head, like the ball that jumping jock catches. Now there's many different ways we can practice this together. You can take a normal paper, like we always do, and your crayons, and you can practice jumping jock. Remember, we start with his hat, then his skinny body with a hook on the end. Then a small jumping jock is in the cupboard, goes down, makes a hook, and what's on top? A dot. Remember, it's not a big soccer ball, it's just a dot, small ball. Then if you want to, I'm going to send Mommy and Daddy this paper, okay? And we write our name at the top. You can colour in your J, and there's a jellyfish to colour in. Remember, the big letters are blue. Let's find a big letter. We colour in the big letter blue, and the small letters red. Then we practice by ourselves. I'm going to use black, but remember, you can use a pencil. You make his hat, his skinny body with a hook. Okay, you can do all of them, then try it by yourself. See how many jumping jocks you can make. Then we can do the little jumping jock. Remember, his tail goes in the garden. Jumping jock likes to play outside. Let's try by ourselves with a hook. Skinny body with a hook. Skinny body with a hook. And there we go. You can write jumping jock by yourself. Well done, elephants.